Okay, I'd like to bring this meeting to order. The Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees, normal meeting, April 22nd, 2024. Clerk Kornecki, please call the roll.
Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova.
Here.
Trustee Corkery. Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar.
Here.
Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazone.
Here. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please remain standing. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, item 3, amendments to the agenda. Anyone have any amendments? I would like to make a motion for 2 of them, 2 amendments. Item 7, presentations. I'd like to add the introduction of new village employee. Unfinished business, item 14, I'd like to add an update on the electrical contractor for the rec center. I'd like to make that motion. We have a second. Trustee Patrick?
Second.
Okay. Any questions, discussions? Clerk Kornecki?
Okay, Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
And President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, item 4 is public comments on agenda items. Anyone signed up?
Yes, Joe Amore on agenda item 3A.
No, I'm sorry, that was for the committee.
Okay, that was, you're done, really. Okay, thank you. Then I have no one special for agenda.
Okay, no one signed up? Okay, anyone, public comments on agenda items? Okay, seeing none? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, this is Rocco Cafano. I have Mike Udasek and Katie Wagner with me as well. We're from Villa Park Youth Baseball Association. We just want to speak on behalf of the organization. First and foremost, we wanted to thank the village for all they've done for us over the years and how they've allowed us to play on the baseball fields. As of right now, we just want to kind of push through the agreements that are needed to happen between the village and the District 45. And our agreement with them specifically so that we can, very simply put, just start baseball this weekend for all the little kids.
Okay, thank you.
Could you please sign in, please?
Yes.
Okay, anyone else? Public comments on agenda items? Okay, item 5 is public comments on non-agenda items. Do we have anyone signed up?
Yes, I have Ellen Draconis. Going to talk about spring sweep.
Hi, everyone. I'm just bringing a reminder from the Environmental Concerns Commission about the spring sweep, which is Saturday, May 18th, from 9 to noon. It'll be held out here again. The vendors will be E-Paint Recycling, Working Bikes, Interstate Battery, PA Crimson with fire extinguishers, the VFW, Villa Park Lions Club, Capital Metals, Scarce, and Simple Recycling. So if you could spread the word about it, and any volunteers would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have Bob Wagner. About Bike Month activities.
Thank you. I'm here on behalf of the chair of our Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee, Alan Leishman. He could not be here this evening, so I'm just making this announcement on his behalf. You may know that May is Bike Month, and we have several activities planned for the month of May. On May 8th, we will be holding a roll and walk to school day. This is being planned with North School with Principal Fred Lineweber and members of the North School PTA and the Villa Park Police Department. So this will be actually their second, but our first. So we're looking forward to that event, to getting kids to walk and ride their bikes to school. On May 9th, the Bike Pedestrian and Transit Subcommittee is sponsoring a movie in conjunction with the library. The name of the movie is The Engine Inside, and this is a great bicycling movie. And this will actually be a local premiere for this movie, so we're pretty excited about it. May 9th at the Villa Park Library from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Then also on May 11th, in conjunction with the Parks and Recreation Department, we will be we'll be holding a smart cycling class from 12 to 2 at Jefferson Park parking lot. We've done these before. Families and kids that have gone through it really appreciated it. So kudos to the Parks and Rec Department. They've really helped us promote our smart cycling class. And then finally, on May 15th, we'll have our second Villa Park Ride of Silence, which will be Wednesday, May 15th at 7 p.m. We'll be gathering at the Villa Park Police Department. And just also kudos to the Villa Park Police Department. We got great support from the police last year. We got a police escort all the way to Elmhurst and back. So this kind of commemorates the loss of life, unfortunately, of bicyclists. In 2021, there were 966 bicycle fatalities in the United States. So it kind of draws attention to that and encourages people to ride more safely. And I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Bob, where does that ride go?
So we haven't just determined the exact route. What we did is we rode around Villa Park, and then we rode to Elmhurst to meet up with the Elmhurst Bike Club. So it's probably going to be about 4 to 5 miles. We're going to keep it, a moderate pace and a moderate distance. So if kids want to join in, they can as well. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Judy Worley, regarding her property, 3 acres property.
Hi, yeah, Judy Worley, 625 East Van Buren Street, and we have a forgotten gem in Villa Park, a 3-acre property. It's been in our family for 64 years, and the back 2 acres have never been developed. There's been no structures on that whatsoever. Pristine from the original subdivision. So we've been and we are for sale. So I'm here just to put the word out to new board members who might not be familiar with the situation. And if you have anyone that might be interested in a development opportunity, we're working with Millennium Properties, Susan Silver, who I think they've worked with the village before, but her number's 312-338-3001. And I have lots of different ideas for it myself. I mean, I see a very nice retirement community back there. If you go a few hundred feet this way, you're at the frontage road. Head that way, there's Walmart. Down Van Buren, there's the golf course. Isn't that perfect retirement community stuff? So I see, whenever these things come up in the village, I'm like, well, that could go right here. So just to let you know that we're there. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Henry Patel, talking about his liquor license.
Hello to everybody, village president, village clerk, and all the trustee members. I am here from 350 East North Avenue, Villa Park, BP. And I'm at that location for last 15 years. And what I'm looking for is everybody like to apply or for village beer wine license, whatever is possible. And if you have any question, I can answer it for you.
I asked Mr. Patel to come here to see if, try to get a consensus from the board if they would be willing to allow a liquor license. It's a gas station, operating gas station on North Avenue. He's been there for
15 years.
15 years. He would just like to sell beer and wine packaged only, as a lot of our gas stations in Villa Park have been doing lately. So if you have any questions for Mr. Patel, but I'd just like to kind of get a consensus for him, if the board would be willing to approve that license when it comes up here after he goes through the background check. So if anyone has any questions for Mr. Patel,
This is the BP over there, right?
the BP on North Avenue.
North Avenue and Villa Avenue.
So if we can, any,
What do we do?
well, if you have another question, I'd just like to get a consensus. Clerk Konecki, if you would just call a roll on consensus, if you would approve it.
I just had a
Oh,
quick
I'm sorry.
question.
Yeah.
Beforehand, are you looking to put gaming machines in there, or
No,
just
no,
beer and wine?
that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, he would not be able to with just a sale license like that. Yeah, trustee Patrick.
Thank you. I think right now I don't have any issues with it as now, but this is the first I'm hearing of it. I'd like to have a little bit more information.
Yeah, like I say, it's several gas stations we have approved, and it's just package sale. He cannot do gaming because you have to have a pour license for that, obviously, which we have not allowed. And anyone, we've had a few requests for that, so we have not allowed that. But it's just strictly beer and wine is, like I say, I can think of at least 4 stations that we've got in Villa Park that have that. Trustee Kozak.
How many liquor licenses have been issued in the last 12 months?
New licenses, I'd have to look at that. 3 or 4? I'd have to check on that, yeah.
You can get back to us on that.
Yep.
Has anybody ever been denied?
Not that I know of.
We said no to someone
No.
down there, right?
No, there's one that was denied, I think. There was one person, there was one renewal or something that was under question. Right?
Is it? What's that? Yeah. There may have been one where they were asking for gaming, and we
was
didn't
something.
allow it, yeah. But that was for pour license.
Yeah,
This is just
it was the
packaged.
pour license, it was
Yeah.
not this, not the gas station.
Yeah. Okay. Trustee Alfano?
Just one question. I'm wondering why this wasn't an agenda item and why, is this public comment still?
Yeah, this is public comment on non-agenda, and it was, Mr. Patel had called me over the week, or actually on Friday.
Okay.
And, by the time I got back to him today. and
Got it.
That's why, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Trustee Patrick?
So traditionally, we've been given a heads up on the board when discussion like this was going to come forward. I have no issues right now with this, but if we tentatively say we still have open discussion for whatever's presented to us in the future. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah, if we allow him to go ahead with, to apply for the license, then obviously it would come to the board for approval once he goes through the background check. Trustee Kozak?
So I would just think the appropriate thing would be to put it up on the agenda, even if it's a consensus item, and not, just in public comment. Nobody else has public comment that we're doing
Yeah.
consensus to, so I just don't think it's appropriate. I have nothing against you or that, it's just the procedure of it all.
Okay, we can bring it back on the next, yeah, are you in a hurry for this? I mean, it's
No, I can
been a
wait.
while, yeah.
I'll wait.
Okay, all right, we'll bring it back up then.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Okay, any other public comments on non-agenda items? Okay,
I'm very sorry. Could I make a quick comment about the agenda items real quickly?
the agenda items?
I know it passed. I'm very
Yeah.
sorry. It kind of came in last minute.
Public comment?
Yeah. Is the board okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
My name is Katie Wagner. I live on South Cornell. I'm coming to you as a parent, as a baseball board member, and thank you for allowing me to make a public comment today. I've been a part of this community for almost 7 years, and we love being a part of a passionate and caring community. There's a lot of things that we love, but I would really like to see our baseball fields being taken care of year-round. This has been a continuous discussion item since I've been on our baseball board for about 4 years. My idea is that during our off-season, we come together in the fall and come up with a plan so that we can get our fields prepared, so then when we come into the next spring season in 2025, we are not hoping and praying that our fields are ready so that we can actually start our season, which is less than a week away. Also that I see that there's new business for the naming rights for the new recreation center. I was doing just research. Also as a baseball, we are hurting for softball. In our baseball league, it's named the Villa Park Youth Baseball, but we also have softball component. We have not had enough interest this year to be able to field a softball team. There is a person who was in Villa Park, Norma Berger. She was on the All-American Girls Baseball League in the 1950s. She was a Villa Park resident. I think it would be a great opportunity to name our new recreation center after her and hopefully promote more of our girls in Villa Park to want to take up softball and hopefully continue that tradition. So next year we can field a softball team. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other public comments, non-agenda items? Okay, with that, move to item 6A is a proclamation recognizing Public Service Employees Week, May 5th through 12th, 2024. Whereas the citizens of the Village of Villa Park are served each day by public servants at the federal, state, county, and local levels, and whereas Public Service Recognition Week has been celebrated the first week of May since 1985 to honor the men and women who serve our nation as government employees. And whereas over 150 hardworking, talented people with a variety of certifications, specialty trade backgrounds, training, and education are employed by the Village of Villa Park. And whereas these individuals provide our community with public infrastructure, police services, streets, facilities, and grounds maintenance, economic and community development, parks and recreation, fire prevention protection services, finance, human resources management and administration. And whereas in often difficult circumstances, our civil servants work to protect and improve the quality of life for our residents, businesses, and visitors. And whereas without these public servants at every level, continuity would be impossible in a democracy that regularly changes its leaders and elected officials. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Nick Cazzone, President of Village of Villa Park, along with the Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim the week of May 5th to May 11th, 2024 as Public Service Recognition Week in the Village of Villa Park, and encourage all residents to recognize and express their appreciation for the important contributions of public employees throughout the village. And I'm sure on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank all of our public service employees who make Villa Park one of the best towns to live in. So thank you, and recognized May 5th through May 11th.
Thank you. If I could just make a quick comment. I appreciate the fact that this is on the agenda. I appreciate the work of everybody, all 135 plus employees with the Village of Villa Park. And I think that we spend a great deal of time making a better community. And I've often said, like, the orchestra and a musical, we're just as well off when nobody notices us, because usually if they notice us, we've made an error. But every now and then we get an entr'acte or an overture, and we get to get out there in the limelight. And I think we've got a tremendous group of individuals working for us from the very top of the organization, well, just below the top of the organization, to every single one out there who's teaching kids how to learn how to play basketball working in our kids' camps, to the people plowing streets and fixing water leaks, to people approving and permits, every single department. And I know I left out some, police and fire, the work you do every day to prevent, to save lives, and the Parks and Rec Department making this a better place to live. So, and of course, the finance and administration holding it together. So I thank you for reading that proclamation, and I thank every one of our employees for the work they do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item 6B is a proclamation recognizing May 2024 as Historic Preservation Month. And whereas the Village of Villa Park recognizes and is proud to have 2 National Register properties, nearly 89 buildings that have been historically recognized, and 2 locally designated historic landmark business districts. And whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, maintaining community character, managing growth, and sustaining development while enhancing livability. And whereas historic preservation fosters a culture of reuse and life cycle conservation, which is environmentally sustainable and economical. Whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a people. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Nick Gazzone, Village President of Villa Park, do hereby recognize May 2024 as Historic Preservation Month in Villa Park, and call upon the people of Villa Park to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in this special observance. And along with that, I'd like to thank our Historical Preservation Society for doing their best to keep the history of Villa Park alive and well. And we have a lot of buildings here that are historical, and it's great to see them preserved while still kind of moving forward with modernization. But they do a great job. And with that, we'll bring up item 7A, kind of rolling right along with that, is a recognition of Carol Marcus as chairperson of the Historical Preservation Commission. And we have a little plaque for Carol. And in recognition of Carol Marcus for her 38 years as Commissioner to the Village of Villa Park Historical Preservation Commission, presented with great honor and recognition for your commendable and dedicated service to the community, presented this day, April 22nd, 2024, the Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees. And congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to serve the community. And thank you to the village board, manager, and all the village people, the staff, the police, public works, rec center, and all that for all the contributions that they've done throughout Villa Park. Thank you very much for restoring this wonderful village hall, the historical museum, touches and things like that, and the Great Western Depot, and the Ardmore Avenue Station. They're a real asset to the community, especially they're very visible because people go shopping here and up and down the Prairie Path. We've got a lot of beautiful architecture in our town, and we have a lot of stories that go with it. We have a variety of different homes, and when people come into our community, they just fall in love with Villa Park. In fact, they don't even move out of Villa Park once they get in here, you know, it kind of just grabs you and all that. We have a lot of Fuel and Cream. That's another wonderful success story. It's not open. I don't know what happened to that, but
Stay tuned, it will be.
it will be. I know, we can't wait. Ovaltine is another redevelopment project. Some of those come far and few between, but that's our success story. There's a lot of homes that could be plaqued that we haven't heard from. I'd like to encourage the residents to do the research and find out who lives in the home before you, because someday you're going to sell your house and people want to know who you are and who your family are. And we have a beautiful community, tree-lined streets, and springtime is beautiful in Villa Park with all the budding trees and all that. It's just a nice place to visit. So time has gone by fast. It doesn't seem like 38 years. So I encourage anybody who wants to join the Preservation Commission. There are openings on the commission. And if people don't know what the Historic Preservation Commission does, visit our website on the village. There's a lot of information there. You could download applications. You could see the homes that have been recognized, and you could contribute your story to Villa Park. Thank you very much, and I want to see the plaque.
Great, thank you.
I think we should all get a picture with.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get a decent picture.
Yeah.
Here, I'll. She worked at Home Depot, and she was instrumental doing some of the work after the fire at the VFW. And she's from Maywood, and she's a preservation cohort of mine. What can I say? We've been long friends. Yeah. Alicia?
Look here, it's going to take your picture. Okay.
Lori, it's all on your shoulders. Terry and Chris, thank you very much for flowers. And Cheryl, thank you so much for all that you do. People don't know what Cheryl does. Cheryl works her butt off.
Yeah, Cheryl.
I'd like to thank our state representative, Diane Blair Sherlock, for showing up tonight, too. Thank you.
I'm sorry. No worries. Just move that. I want you to sit down. Spinning your
Okay, we will move on to item 7B, is a presentation of the Green Champion Awards. Bob, coming up?
Thank you. Bob Wagner, Chairman of the Environmental Concerns Commission. We appreciate the time afforded to us to make our presentation today. So just a little bit about our award. Some people ask, well, why isn't it the 2024 Green Champion? It's because we're in the middle of the year, so it's for its achievements in the prior year. And in 2016, the Commission created the Green Champion Award program to recognize any outstanding environmental achievements of individuals, groups, organizations, or companies in Villa Park. And we've had a number of great recipients in the past. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ellen Jerkonis, who's going to kick off the presentation to our 2023 recipient.
Hello again. Tonight, the Environmental Concerns Commission is proud to present this award to Kevin Goss, a man with a dedication to environmental improvements as the golf course superintendent of Sugar Creek Golf Course. You want to? Yeah. Golfers at the course may enjoy the game, the beauty of the holes, and the maintenance of the greens. However, it's likely they're not aware of what has happened with the recent transformations, which is the result of a plan developed to have an environmental impact. And that impact took place because of Kevin's investment of time and knowledge. From 2009 to 2024, he was instrumental in promoting, planning, supervising, and completing the $1.3 million Sugar Creek Restoration Project. The project focused on improving water quality in the Salt Creek watershed through the use of native plants, wetland restoration, and erosion control. In his work, he helped coordinate many government bodies, agencies, and contractors. Kevin believes that golf courses offer not only the recreational and exercise opportunities, but also provide areas of consideration for stormwater management, water filtration, wildlife habitat, carbon sequestration, and educational opportunities. He believes the presence of a golf course in a community minimizes negative impacts on the environment, and he looks forward to more improvements at the golf course. He's on the Horticultural Advisory Committee and faculty at the College of DuPage, and there he advocates for the use of sustainable practices in landscape and turfgrass industry. So we thank you, Kevin, for being an advocate for the earth and for being such a nice guy.
Thank you.
Kevin has a short presentation of what has been achieved and some of the changes to share with you.
Hi, first thing I'd like to say is I'm really honored to be considered for this. There are a lot of very deserving people like in the room here who have made a big impact on the environment in Villa Park, especially in the watershed. There's a lot of big projects going on right now, and I'm really honored that to receive this and the recognition of the award. And it was really, especially this project, was a really community effort. Everybody on the Board of Trustees and Public Works and Parks and Rec in Villa Park, played a role in it. A lot of my employees were also residents, played a role in it. People 20 years ago that got the ball rolling, and also obviously people from Elmhurst, the county, the EPA, and the Army Corps of Engineers. I mean, there's a lot of people that had to come together to make this happen, and so I definitely want to thank them before I say anything else. Made it clear, like, there are a lot of people involved. Up here, there's a picture, a photo of kind of a before photo. I mean, you can see in around 1990, there was steel shore sheeting put around the shoreline, which did work to control erosion for a little, for about 20 years or so. But then it rusted through, as steel will do, and started caving in. So really about 15 years ago, when I started as superintendent, I knew eventually this was going to happen and something was going to have to happen. That's when we started investigating different options. And I always liked the idea of naturalizing the shorelines. A lot of golf courses are, we're not the only golf course to do it, but I do think this project's really special in that it's a relatively small community golf course that really pulled together and accomplished this. So that was kind of the before conditions. This is what it looked like from July. So you can see now we have either naturalized or limestone boulders placed along the shore. There's 6 riffles. The dam was removed at the end that had created kind of the stagnant pool, and now it gradually steps down, and under normal conditions it keeps the water moving. And then that area of green there that used to be mostly invasive species is now native wetland, which will help filter the water as it moves through the course. So this is kind of the main reservoir area. We have definitely noticed, you can see here, there's a lot of rushes along the shore. And then we planted 18,000 native plugs along the shoreline. Some of them still have to get established, so that's, it's still growing in. But over the next few years, it's going to be something really beautiful. Not that it's not now, but we've noticed definite increase in the amount of like herons, egrets. We've seen some wood ducks lately, a lot more killdeer, they're ground nesting birds. We used to always have like, one or two would stop by, but last summer, we know in the morning, there'd be like a dozen of them because they like to sit on the riffles and look for fish, and they have a lot more habitat and fishing opportunities now. So you can see there's a couple, it's an egret right there. There's actually another one down there and another one over here you can't really see. But almost every morning they would be down there looking for fish. Oh yeah, this is one, that's the bridge on Villa right there. This area was mostly buckthorn and concrete rubble from going way back to, before the golf course. So naturalizing those and stepping the water down, like removing the dam, I noticed that area in particular, and on the other side also, the egrets have really been enjoying. I played a game for a while last year to see how many I could fit in one shot, and I think this was probably my record. I think you could actually see like 9 in there if you look really close. And this is the old dam area. So instead of steel, you can see the rocks, and in the corners there, instead of trying to like turn it back into a lake, which it didn't want to be, they're turned into wetlands. Those are all native plugs, mostly rushes and sedges. Another place the egrets really like. This is from the ribbon cutting ceremony, where we had people from the golf course board, board of trustees, Elmhurst commissioners, the county, and the EPA, and that was when construction was finished last May. So you can see it hasn't still have the straw blankets, hasn't germinated yet, but that was right when we reopened the course. And the contractor put together this amazing drone video. Just want to make sure that they get credit for it. They said we could use it as long as we give them attribution. But they every week they came out and did some drone footage. It's only a minute long, but it morphs from before and after, and it really kind of gives an idea of the construction process. Oh yeah, there's just some music there. So it's kind of a tour through the course there. Yeah, I really like seeing the pictures when it was dewatered with the excavators, and then it morphs into what it looks like now. And obviously that was from last year. Those plants had only been growing for like 6 months. It's going to just look better and better. So I don't know if there were any others.
You just had some of the still drone photos.
Oh, yeah.
If you want
Yes. Yeah, so that was kind of halfway through construction there. And then that's in July when the wetlands filled in, the plants. So it was the ideal location for a water quality improvement project, which is why we were able to get most of it, well, more than half of it funded by grants, because it really is kind of the end of the watershed and a great place to naturalize the shorelines. And that was right after they planted all the plugs in there. You can still see the rows of plugs. Okay, excellent. One thing too, people always ask me where all the fish and turtles went, and no fish or turtles were harmed in this project. We actually, when we dewatered it, most of them just find their own way. I mean, they know. When you remove a dam, they know. But the ones that got trapped in little pools, we went out and we rescued probably about 3 dozen turtles and I don't know how many carp, a lot of carp. But it was amazing. Right after we filled the pond, we actually purposely placed logs on the side for turtles to perch on. It's like the first day they were back. So they're all back. We have a very large turtle population, and mostly carp, but we're hoping with some deeper pools and without the dam, we'll get some other fish in there too. So thank you, everyone, that helped, make this possible. And it's a project that, the whole community should be proud of.
Good. Congratulations. Thank you. Quick question though, how many of my golf balls did you find? Okay, item 7C is the Community Fund Commission presentation on brood cicadas.
Everyone can see what we have to hold up. Happy Earth Day. I hope everybody got some time to go out. We're talking about all this wonderful stuff. Every single person that has come up here and said something, I was like, I can tie that into cicadas, so we'll see if I remember. But I hope everybody got out to do something for the earth and make it a better place for us to live in. And on that note, Leslie, the head commissioner, is going to talk about the Prairie Path cleanup that we have coming up.
So this Saturday is the annual Illinois Prairie Path Cleanup, and we will be meeting over at the Villa Park Historical Museum Pavilion at 9 o'clock, going to 11. We'll be cleaning up the Villa Park sections of both the Prairie Path as well as the Great Western Trail. We suggest that you wear long pants, gloves, sturdy shoes, bring grabbers if you have them, pooper scoopers, although I do have a lot of those too that I'm happy to share. And we will provide the trash bags. Last year we found some pretty interesting things out there, and we're hoping to do the same thing this year. We will probably have a prize or two for the most trash collected, the most unusual piece of trash that we find, and are we still going to get ice cream?
We are going to get ice cream. It won't be a creme, but I'm going to bring a cooler of a bunch of stuff for the pavilion.
For the little kids?
Yep.
All right, so we'll have ice cream there.
For anybody who volunteers, not just little kids.
All right, awesome.
Kids of all ages. Random people.
We have quite a few people that registered already, but the Illinois Prairie Path is asking that you register on their websites. So if you're interested in joining us, you can go to ipp.org/cleanup. And at that, I will mention that the last 2 years, we have done the Oldest Tree Award. We decided to give that a rest for a while, and instead, Mary has been working on something else that has to kind of sort of do with trees, but that being said, I will let her take it from here.
As you can tell, there's two different ways of looking at the cicadas. There's the Leslie way, which says nope, And there's the me way that says this is really, really cool. What we have going on this particular year in '24 is there's a chance for the periodic cicadas, which are the 17-year and the 13 years, you probably all know this, that are going to come out on the same year. They're not going to hit in Villa Park, but you can go down to Springfield and maybe see a little patch where they're both coming out at one time. But we're going to be happy with the 17-year. We have decided to celebrate, we're going to have a cicada coloring contest. So all those baseball players that are looking for something to do to fill in their time, they can go to the Villa Park Village Hall, Iowa Community Center, the Villa Park Historical Museum, which we talked about today, and BMO Harris Bank, and they can pick up their copy of the coloring contest page. They can color it, and they can drop it back. They don't have to drop it back at the same place, but at one of those 4 places. And we will be giving away 3 awards for 3 different age groups. It's going to be age 1 through 6, age 7 through 12, and age 13 through 221. And you say, 221, why? Nobody's been alive. The next time these 2 broods will be hatching at the same time is going to be 221 years from now. So no one's alive before, and no one will be alive since. So take that.
And what are we giving away?
We're giving away a big stuffed cicada. It's like a pillow. It's very cool. I was going to bring one in, but it's kind of big. And we're going to give that away at the Kites and Kicks event, which is June 9th over at Rotary Park. So we're calling this Cicada Month because we're doing the coloring contest from April 27th to May 31st. And that's what we're doing, and the cicadas are going to do all the rest. They're going to be crawling up the trees, so everyone who's got a lot of trees is going to see millions of them. We're going to try and get as many people to download pictures on our website, our Fun Commission website, and our Fun Commission Facebook page. Your dog's playing with the cicadas, and the first cicada you've seen, and how many. I had a big, huge fence that was just covered with them. It was just unbelievable, the amount of them. And I just want to tell, we've made a little story about Sid the cicada, and they'll be out all over the place. It's a little fold out, and it does tell the story of Sid. Basically, you know, the numbers might be a little different from what you read, but it also has information about events going on this summer in Villa Park.
Can you tell she's a little obsessed with cicadas?
Once I started, I just could not stop. And I see a lot of, we gave everyone on the board one of these little clippies, and you might see those around someplace too. And hopefully Cicada Month will go happily, and it'll be gone. It's only a month, or a month and a half, so live through it, Leslie. You're prepared. That's all I have. So I hope you all participate and go to the 4 places and get your copy so that you can join in.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7D is the one we added, is an introduction of our new employee. Manager Harling.
Both Assistant Village Manager Suzanne McVeigh and, oh, you'll just do both? All right, Mark's being shy. Well, it has a couple of our newest employees to introduce. And by the way, I read the Sid Cicada story, and it might be young adult when it comes to the village libraries.
So we are very excited to welcome 2 of our newest employees here to the village who will be working with a lot of our commissions, members of the public, as well as the board. So we wanted to take an opportunity to introduce them here tonight. So first, we have Riley Pillar, who is our new communication specialist. She started last week. She comes to us from the private sector, but she is a lifelong Villa Park resident. Her first job ever was at Lufkin Pool. So we are very excited to have her, and her passion for serving Villa Park was really what, you know, we were so excited to have on board. And so she's already been all over the place within the last week. And so we're just really excited that she's finally here. So.
Hello. Thank you guys for giving me some time tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here and working for the village. As Suzanne said, I've lived here my whole life, and my husband's actually worked here for about 6 years too, so it's really nice that we're both here now and we're both staying in Villa Park, and I'm really excited to meet all the different departments and learn about all these commissions I may not have known about before. So excited to partner with everybody, and I'm always an open book for communication. So if anyone ever wants to reach out to me or any ideas, I love collaborating. So thank you.
And next up, we have Michelle House. Michelle is our new Deputy Director of Community and Economic Development. It's a mouthful, so we'll have to figure out how to shorten that. But she started a few weeks ago. She comes to us from Glenview, where she was a senior planner. So we are so excited to have her. She's jumped right in. She's got a lot of ideas for our permitting and planning process. She's got a ton of ideas, and so we're very lucky to have her on board, because I think she's going to bring such a fresh perspective that's really going to help the village move forward with all of our goals that we have. So please welcome Michelle.
I am very excited to be here in Villa Park. Hopefully, we'll see lots of new developments coming soon. I'm excited to work with our commissioners and also residents, so really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Well, congratulations and welcome to Villa Park.
Thank you.
All right, move on to item 8A is the reappointment of Sarah Collantine to the Parks and Rec Advisory Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2026, and the appointment of Lynn Smith to the Environmental Concerns Commission for a term to begin upon being sworn in until April 30th, 2025. Do we have a motion for the appointment? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Okay, the consent agenda, item 9A is a bill listings from the weeks of April 8th and April 15th, 2024, for a total amount of $700,533.67, and the approval of the minutes of the April 8th, 2024 Committee of the Whole and the Village Board of Trustees meeting. We have a motion. Trustee Kozar?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a second? Trustee Kumar?
I'll second that.
Questions, comments? Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Item 10A is an ordinance for the first reading. It's an ordinance amending the village code to prohibit the use of groundwater as a potable water supply by the installation or use of potable water supply wells or by any other method within the corporate limits of the Village of Villa Park. Manager Harline.
This ordinance amends the village code to prohibit the use of groundwater as a potable water supply by installation and use of water wells for potable water or extracting potable water from groundwater by any other method within the corporate limits of the Village of Villa Park. The ordinance exempts properties who have such wells in the corporate limits in existence prior to the effective date of this section. Staff recommends giving this first reading of this ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, since it's the first reading, we'll just have any discussion on this? Any questions or comments? Trustee Kumar.
Am I wrong in that you cannot use groundwater in DuPage County?
You are not allowed to drill a new well as long as there's a water supply within 300 feet. So that's the county requirement. However, there are, yeah, Director Guerra. Yeah.
You know, it's probably as much as I. So correct, I think the Illinois Plumbing Code and the county will not permit new potable wells used for drinking water.
Right.
Other wells could be acceptable, just not for drinking water. Within the county, that's a lot of times due to the health concerns. if potable is available, which I believe is 300 feet, but don't quote me, I have to go back through and read that section. You need to hook up to the public water supply, similar with sanitary, with wastewater.
So you could use the potable water, like, to water your plants?
So
If
you
you
can use
already,
the groundwater for irrigation purposes in the state, so yes,
Yeah,
watering
yeah,
plants, irrigations, those sort of uses are still allowed because the the groundwater is owned by all residents of Illinois, so we can't prohibit that, and we're not intending to. A lot of this is in relation to, we've gotten a lot of requests for groundwater ordinances from contamination from underground storage tanks. Working with legal counsel Wolf, we determined that it might just be easier to make one ordinance versus each ordinance coming back before the board. And then we'll work in coordination with the EPA to make sure that's acceptable as well.
I think I was the one who even suggested that we have one ordinance at one point anyway, and I'm happy that it's come back to us and that we are kind of making this ordinance. I'm just trying to clarify what the ordinance entails.
Yes, and
To our public.
Dr. McLaughlin, correct me, it's 200 feet.
200 feet, okay, thank you.
And we do have water mains almost within accessibility for almost all the lots in the village, so that water is available.
Yeah, and the issue too is if someone does have a potable well that they are using, that they've had forever, you don't want to pass an ordinance that says they can't use it anymore and force them to. But if that well goes bad, then they have to hook up to village water.
Okay.
Trustee Cordova.
Are we no longer allowing people to drill wells then?
Wells just for potable water, so
Okay,
for
then
drinking
that's fine.
purposes.
Yeah. All right.
Trustee Kozar.
I know it says that the staff recommends giving this the first reading, and if anybody has a reason for not waiving that first reading, I'd like to make a motion to just waive the first reading and be done with it. But very open if somebody has a reason that they want to bring it up again in the next meeting.
Major Harlan?
We'd like to, one thing we haven't done is make sure that the language suits the IEPA. So we kind of wanted to hold off until, for 3 weeks to make sure that this covers any.
I will withdraw my motion then.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Move on to item 11A is an ordinance for a second reading. It's an ordinance to increase the water rates. Major Harline.
The village received the DuPage Water Commission draft budget, which includes a rate increase of 3.4% or 19 cents per 1,000 gallons starting May 1st. Their cost increase is due to the rate increase from the city of Chicago. The village's water rate study only planned for a 1% rate increase in the 2021 Stanley Consultant Study. So this increase is too large to be absorbed with its current rate structure. Therefore, this proposed ordinance will raise the village current rate by 1.36% or 14 cents per 1,000 gallons. This proposal will increase the monthly cost of water by approximately $84 a month for an average family. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance amending the water rates and charges.
$84?
$84 cents.
84 cents a month, I'm sorry. Sorry. $0.84, sorry, 84 cents a month for an average. My apologies.
That would
Okay,
kill
good,
someone.
thank you. Okay, do we have?
Just seeing if you guys are paying attention.
Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kumar. Okay, we have a second? Trustee Cordova?
Yep.
Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Kumar.
Just make sure it's 84 cents, not
Yeah,
$84.
You'd have to use a lot of water.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Hey, Clerk Renecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, item 12A is an ordinance approving a variation for a corner side yard setback for the property located at 806 South Michigan Avenue, Villa Park. Major Harline.
This ordinance approves position PZ 2404 for a variation to allow the encroachment of a deck into the minimum 15-foot required corner side yard setback by 5.5 feet for a 9.5-foot setback for the home located at 806 South Michigan. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval by an 8-0 vote. The owners are here if you have any questions. Also, our Community and Economic Development Director, Mark McLaughlin, is here for any technical questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kumar, do we have a second? Trustee Kozar. I was at Planning and Zoning when this came up, and apparently the deck is basically the same size that it is now. And it's just, they're replacing 25-year-old deck that just needs replacement, so that it's replacing what's there right now. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Korkonecki, please.
Oh, there was a question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just hope you like your new deck.
Thank you. Hope the weather gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Korkonecki.
Hey, Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Okay, item 12B is an ordinance approving a special use for body art service for the property located at 626 North Addison Road, Villa Park. Manager Harline.
This ordinance approves petition PZ 2407 for a special use for body art service for the tenant space located at 626 North Addison Road. The Planning and Zoning Commission approved by a vote of 8-0 and recommends approval of this ordinance. Petitioner Bracean, I believe, is here, and if you have any questions for him or Director McLaughlin, they're both here in attendance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Cordova? Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar? Okay, I also, again, was at that P&Z meeting, and it passed pretty easily, so hopefully we can get you in there.
It's a tattoo shop?
Yes.
Awesome. Is it open right now? No.
No, that's what we got to pass this first.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
That's the right order, by the way.
Right. I don't know if it's already built.
Yeah. Clerk Reneke.
First customer.
Okay,
idea.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Okay, item 13 is resolutions. We don't have any. Item 14A, unfinished business, a discussion about Villa Park Youth Baseball League. Manager Harline.
This item was requested to be placed on the agenda by Trustee Kevin Patrick, and I'll yield the floor.
Thank you.
Or actually, I'll yield it
Appreciate
back to you, so you can yield the floor.
Well, thank both of you. Good evening, everybody, and thank you to Manager Harline and President Casone for allowing us to have this on our agenda. As you know, baseball season is among us right now. It's a good time of year, spring, great time. I feel sorry for any Sox fans out there. Hang it and stick with it. You'll be okay. But years ago, when I became a trustee, there was kind of a learning curve to the position as well, kind of learning all the ins and outs of local government. And I'll be the first to tell you that it can get very confusing sometimes and needing some clarification at some points. So with that being said, the reason why I've requested this to be on our agenda tonight is because there is some issues of uncertainty or clarification that need to be discussed here. And Villa Park Youth Baseball has been a staple, one of our main stakeholders here in Villa Park community for many years, at least 40 years that I can remember. And the program has been a huge benefit to our community. This year, right now, this season, I believe that we have close to 400 plus kids signed up for the league this year, all anxious to get this season, this baseball season underway. I know that we have Rocco Cafano, we have Mike Hudasek, and we have Katie Wagner here tonight that also represent.
My name is James Soderstrom. I'm the newly appointed Fields and Maintenance Chairperson, along with Fundraising Director for Villa Park Baseball.
Excellent. I apologize to see you back there.
Okay.
But we do have them here tonight to help us work through some of these issues and get some more clarification on some of these issues. And the biggest concern right now is that with traditionally speaking, since Villa Park Youth Baseball has been in our community for such a long time, the last formal agreement that we really had in place in the village expired in 2017. And since then, it's been more or less a handshake agreement between the baseball league and the village of Villa Park as to what those duties are, who shares what duties, and moving forward, how do we continue the success of this program and continue to have baseball as a program that we can offer our community and our kids. So in that being said, we have been working, and I know the village has been working, and I know that there are many elements to an agreement here, because it's not just the Village of Villa Park and Villa Park Youth Baseball, it's also School District 45. And going back to what I said earlier about all the intricacies of how local government works and how to clarify and understand some of these things, is that we are just trying to get some formal agreements in order, so that way we don't have to stress or worry about our kids not being able to have a baseball season or get ready underway for opening day, which I believe is Saturday.
Play safely on the fields.
Yes, and absolutely to play safely. And I believe President Kazone, you are scheduled to be throwing out the first pitch. Is that correct?
That's right.
So, so this is something that has been a part of our community for many years, and I personally believe that it is a valuable asset. It helps grow our community as well. And I think being up here in a position to help clarify some of these issues is what we're supposed to do. So I would like to talk first of all about and have open discussion here on the board about being able to make sure and ensure to Villa Park Youth Baseball that we have the opportunity and the willingness and the ability to get those fields prepared in time for this weekend's opening season. And then also a discussion about how we could move forward with some more specifics as part of this intergovernmental agreement that we might want to create between the village and Villa Park Youth Baseball. I would be glad to start off. Go ahead.
Would you like me to address where we are currently?
Yes, please.
My name is James Soderstrom, or Jamie Soderstrom is what I go by for everybody, and I am the fundraising director as well as the newly appointed Fields Commissioner or Fields Committee Chairperson. There has been some great conversations since winter. Basically, we get through winter between the school district and the village. Currently, we are working with the village to maintain the village field, which is happening very often. Obviously, trying to make them better and comparable to the surrounding communities, especially around Villa Park is here, but also DuPage County as well. And we've had those conversations, and we've had some great times at the tables and conversations. We are currently working along with the school board, or with the school board of District 45, and we currently have a agreement with them to use their fields at such time that Villa Park and the school district form an agreement. Then our agreement with the school board would then dissolve, and then the village would take over working with the school fields and with Villa Park Youth Baseball. We have agreed to work with the village to lessen their load and apply more load to us and to our volunteer coaches. All of our coaches are 100% volunteers, so 400 kids, volunteers. I coach on the travel baseball side with the 14U team. We currently have a 12U team and an 11U team as well that use the fields. And all those coaches will be responsible for helping maintain the fields, dragging, lining the fields, all that type of stuff to help with the village. So I think where we've gone, or where we've been to where we are now, is night and day. And we're hoping with today's development, there was a development today between the school board, the village, and us, where the school board okayed village employees to step foot on District 45 fields to get those fields ready as soon as tomorrow, weather provided, because tomorrow is supposed to rain, unfortunately, again in Chicago. But they, according to the emails that I was privy to and that the board was privy to, those fields will be started to get ready for our Saturday, for our opening day at 9 a.m., hopefully at Jefferson Middle School, with help of the school board's agreement, handshake agreement, our handshake agreement, and the agreement between the Villa Park, the board and Parks and Rec and things of that nature. That's where we are currently going forward from there.
I have heard about a really progressive plan about what Villa Park Youth Baseball is talking about regarding the upkeep and maintenance, like you talked about, as a volunteer organization, having those dads out there or parents out there helping to take care of those fields. Can you explain a little bit more about what your idea is and how you'd like to do that and how that might lessen the burden on the village?
So what we're asking of the Parks and Rec Division is to work with the heavy maintaining. If dugout benches the wood needs to be removed or repainted or taken care of, or if the fencing needs to be replaced, those are the things that the coaches have been told to contact me, so that I can then in turn in contact with the school board, and then obviously the village more once the IGA is through there. So they would be contacting me. You would not, unless they took it on their own part, but they have been told to go through the proper steps to get there. What would happen is the village would maintain the fields with their machinery. The Parks and Rec would maintain it with their, to make it pristine. And then that would happen 1 to 2 days a week. And then when the games are played, like specifically we have a game tomorrow at High Ridge, after that game is over, we would drag the fields after the game, just like the Cubs do, the White Sox do, Kane County Cougars. We would drag the fields afterwards to help lessen their burden of what they walk into on Wednesday morning, provided we were able to play tomorrow. And then the same thing would happen on with our in-house leagues at Jefferson, Franklin, Jackson, High Ridge, Twin Lakes. I always forget Twin Lakes. So that's what would happen to help lessen their burden for what they walk into the next morning.
Is it true that you've already gotten permission to place storage sheds on there to help store some of this equipment that would help maintain the fields?
At the school district facilities, yes.
At the school district facilities?
Yes.
Is that something that would interest Villa Park Youth Baseball from a village point of view on village fields?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then also, we kind of have talked about potential ways of cost saving and maintaining the fields in a specific fashion or manner. And I know that I had sent that email to our village manager for him to look at. But there is a specific way that the fields need to be dragged, and it's for safety reasons as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Could you explain that a little bit?
So you just can't grab a screen or a drag rake or like what you see when you go to the White Sox game or the Cubs game, you see the guys come out and they just drag it. There's a reason why the outfield people go first versus the infield people, because then it forms lips and things of that nature. So having a way to do it, and Rocco is certified in the field maintenance and has taught a lot of us about how to do it and go about doing it. So there is a way to do it so that the playing surface, A, stays level, but B, also maintains well, so that there's no lips between the infield, if you're playing at High Ridge where there's grass on the infield, or if you're playing it at the other fields where you have the regular, what we're all used to, the Little League dirt infields to the outfield grass.
Okay. You did talk about the cost savings, I believe, as far as like the quick dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Thank you, Jamie, I appreciate it. Once again, I'm Rocco Caifano, Villa Park Youth Baseball. So there's a few items on the list that I tried to go through really briefly. And once again, this is not to discredit anything that the village has done. They've moved mountains for us over the years. We just want to be a little bit more specific on some of the issues on the field. I feel like we're doing things a little bit, a lighter touch is the way to go about it. So what Jamie explained, if you think of a ball field as a circle, as our ball fields don't have grass in the center, it's just all dirt. If you drag from the mound, the inside, to the outermost, you're bringing that dirt out. And if you have what we call the lips from the outfield meets the infield, you will build a lip because you're pushing that dirt out. And that's where you could have a dangerous issue where you have a kid who gets a ground ball and it flies up that lip and hits the outfielder in the head. It's dangerous. And not to mention, it will also do puddling. So if you go from the outside in and you drag and you make it more like a mountain shape from the center of the mound, then the water will taper out after a rain. You won't have as much puddling. That's the proper way to do it. So what I outlined in the email, and I apologize for not having a PowerPoint for you guys, but it's really simply explained as if the village was to just drag every field once a week, we could really do the rest, and we can save a lot of money across the board, and then allocate some of the resources to improving the fields, like resurfacing, adding benches, improving the dugouts, maybe even planting trees. I was just at some other surrounding towns, and I believe that they're a little bit farther in front of us, and I want to get us to that point because I feel like our kids deserve it. So that's pretty much the main thing is the dragging. Also, buying pallets of field dry, which for those of you that don't know, you add down the field dry, it helps soak up the water. We'd rather just cancel the game. What ends up happening a few months later on is you have a desert in the field, and then it's harder to drag. Now you have to have your crews come out and drag 3-4 times. It's unnecessary. We can even purchase sponges. They're big sponges that you put down in the puddle. You soak up the water. You drain it out by the grass. That's the proper way to do it. But you're really not in that situation if you're dragging properly. So it always comes back to dragging efficiently. So those are really the main points there. I can add in a lot of other details, but if we're allowed to do the just everyday maintenance like lining the fields, making sure that the bases are plumb level and square, and everything else that we can allow our coaches to do on a daily basis. The home team comes and sets up the game. The away team then drags it, makes it nice and easier. It will really take the burden off of the village. It will save a lot of money financially. It's really the way to do it, and it's not my idea. It's what I used to do for Chicago Park District. It's what Lombard does, if I'm not mistaken. It's what Elmhurst does. Unfortunately, Elmhurst is now getting turf fields, but it's another story. But we would rather allocate our resources. We've had good donations in the past. I don't believe that that's sustainable from our end, but I would rather allocate our money towards improving our fields. That's my take. That's our take on it.
Because for that reason, while we see an uptake in our in-house.
Could you come up here, please?
We'll be seeing an intake in terms of more in-house kids coming in and travel kids coming back to Villa Park. We are still losing kids and losing families to other surrounding communities. And if you ask them what's the number one reason why you left, it's not our coaches, it's not anything else. The number one reason is our fields. That is the number one reason. And so that's why we're here to do this, to make it better so that we keep Villa Park kids in Villa Park and bring the Elmhurst kids here and the Lombard kids and the Glendale Heights and the Dariens and all that, because we want to have it where it should be when it was, back in when I grew up in the 80s. It was
Baseball,
massive.
but no softball yet, right? You guys.
No, we want to do that too.
There's no softball this year, right?
No, that is correct.
That's a whole another separate issue.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. We'll be here all night, and they'll be very mad.
Okay, good, thank you.
I think it's nice to hear that the village was able to figure this out today and come to this arrangement. So that's reassuring that the season is still going to take place this year. The kids will have fields that are properly taken care of. But also, my request is that we continue to have these conversations and these talks as a village with the Villa Park Youth Baseball League. I would also recommend that Villa Park Youth Baseball League be added as an agenda item to our Parks and Recreation Commission, so that way they could be involved in these discussions as well, to see how the village and Villa Park Youth Baseball can further work together to sustain such a great program that we've had for many years. So my request, not only for it to be on the agenda, but I would like for the village and the Villa Park Youth Baseball to obtain a IGA that everybody agrees with in a reasonable amount of time, and hopefully before the next season starts.
Yeah, and I think we've all worked great over the past 6 months.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't need an IJ, we've got an agreement that we've already passed, correct?
We've given the authority for the village manager to enter into an agreement largely along the lines of the original draft that was presented to you, plus the list of wants that was presented on March 25th. We have continued to work with them. Since then, there has been a couple of, we've got a couple other things going on in Parks and Rec. I can tell you about those. But that agreement is ready to be signed. There's some other things I could say to this, but we started our discussion back in early March. We contacted Villa Park Youth Baseball in February. It took a little bit for them to get back to us. We got started with discussions. We had a meeting, I think it was March 4th, with Youth Baseball and the District 45, and we started putting together the items. We got an email from Jeff Egan on March 18th, kind of laying out what the gives and gets were. They weren't quite right. They needed to be tweaked. We brought together a draft here on the 25th. We then have been redrawing the agreements to make sure that those things that were supposed to be in that agreement are in that agreement. And we've had agreements with, we have not had an intergovernmental agreement with, last year, District 45 and the village both signed an intergovernmental agreement. It was originally proposed as two separate agreements, but District 45 insisted on a three-part agreement. The village signed, District 45 signed. Village Park Youth Baseball did not want to sign because of there have been some changes in the leadership and they wanted to go a different direction. So we have been working together for a period of time, and the idea of the Villa Park Youth Baseball taking a much more active role in maintaining the fields is one we're willing to work with, and but that's new this year, really. So we're trying to accommodate that, protect the physical interests and the financial interests of all parties, and also work with District 45. We have not. I have to go back and look, but I don't think we've gotten a signed agreement back from D45, even though we presented one to them weeks ago. So
there was an email that came out today.
Yeah.
That they said that they were ready to sign based upon one change that needed to be made, which they said would be done in the morning, which would be done Tuesday morning.
That was me.
Oh, that was you?
Village, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
We haven't heard anything from Mr. Egan that said that they would not sign anything.
I know. I think they will. I don't know what level of authority Jeff Egan or Brian Graber have right now to sign the agreement from their board of. But what I do know is that they are not going to prevent the village or youth baseball from going on their field. As for the sheds, technically they are supposed to go through a building permit process. It's very quick. We should be able to get it. We just need to find a site. We need to make sure the distances are set back far enough. If they're just the boxes, the
tough shed,
the little knock boxes. The knock boxes will not. Yeah, they would probably not require any. If I'm understanding the size of those wouldn't require anything at all. But we just, we're trying to make sure that everyone follows the same rules, which is something that's been put forth to me. But we'll be able to make sure this works. And the Village of Villa Park has been trying to work with a much more involved, passionate. There's been passion with Villa Park Youth Baseball all along, but the desire to get much more hands-on involved in the maintenance of the fields is a little bit new, and we're getting that felt out. In perfect universe, we would have started this conversation in January or February, but we're not living in a perfect universe. We're trying to make this work for everybody.
And that's great. I really appreciate the village's timeliness with taking care of this, especially with opening season being this weekend. I guess my last question to the village manager is that does the village have the capability of maintaining the fields right now according to how they're requesting as far as dragging fields and such?
I think that we're working on a cooperative relationship where we'll get the fields taken care of the way that the fine details of internal to external, external to internal. We'll get that worked out to make sure that we're producing the best fields possible. So are we capable of following the directions that, from the, following best practices? Absolutely.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll work with them. We'll continue to work with them.
Again, and that it was best practices as well as safety conditions for our kids that are playing out on those fields as well. I think that's really important, but I appreciate the village coming to a conclusion here prior to the start of the season.
Thanks.
Okay. Trustee Kumar.
I have a couple of questions, actually. Okay, so now your request is that the village drag the fields once a week, am I correct? And are you guys on, I don't think the question is how you drag the fields. Are you on board with dragging the fields? The how, I think, can be worked out certainly because we believe in your best practices. But is it a possibility to drag the fields for them once a week?
Well, that's what the agreement, the original agreement, not the original, but the one that we brought to the board, I believe was to drag the fields once a week and then let youth baseball take care of it during the week.
Last season, you pretty much did everything.
Right.
So this is a big step, I don't know what you want to say, backwards, forwards for you?
No, we appreciate youth baseball coming and wanted to do more work and have more buy-in with the program. And they approached us that they wanted us just to do some initial prep work each week, and then they would come and do the game prep, maybe save some money, and it would be reflected on that agreement that we have with them. So, yeah, we're happy that they want to take more ownership, and we'll see how it goes. And then if there's issues where it rains constantly and we may have to, drag the fields more than once a week, we'll do it because, if we get a deluge for 3 days in a row, it's going to be hard to get the fields up. So, we'll play that one by ear, and we won't just drag the fields once a week and then be done with it, and it rains 3 days later, and, the fields will do that too. So we're happy with what youth baseball's presenting.
Yeah.
I'm asking youth baseball to keep the conversation going. It looks like you absolutely need some incentive and motivation to get the softball league, which I think is very important for, as a female, as a mom, for our growing children who are want to get into baseball later, but maybe start with softball. I think it's very important for our girls to have that. So I hope you keep the conversation going and, stay in the loop. And I look forward to seeing a signed agreement that works to everyone's benefit. As you know, there's a lot of changes coming to Villa Park also. So the conversation, staying with it, where you need fields, the growth of how many fields you'll need in the future, all of that, please keep us on the board, in the loop, because that, again, goes to our future and our strategic planning and how we think about how we want Villa Park to play out.
For sure. Thank you for your time, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay? Okay, Trustee Kozar.
So bottom line, we have a deal, right?
Yeah.
You guys are happy?
So the only issue is the village has, Matt, I gave you a contract today about, we're kind of going back and forth to try to speed it up. We went with our lawyer, and we just basically outlined and said, if you guys can drag once a week, we're good. And we had X amount of fields 5-6 years ago. This is what we have now. The thinking is, if the price is right, then we can definitely buy more equipment, and we can take a lot more of the grunt of the everyday maintenance on. The other issue at hand is, and I don't know how many people are aware, but the village only owns the fields that they own, the Jefferson and Jackson fields, that is D45. However, that is the majority of our Little League games are at Jefferson and Jackson, and without there being an IGA, the village feels like it's really not their hand to step in and take care of the fields. Now, you guys have said that without an IGA right now, that you guys will drag those fields and make sure that they're ready to go for opening day. our opening day, where the first pitches are going to be, where our anthem is going to be. We have various bigwigs from Willowbrook coming to throw first pitches as well. It's going to be at Jefferson. There's no IGA right now. So as of right now, you know, I understand the conflict, but if there's not an IGA signed for the whole season, are we not going to have District 45 fields dragged? And if that's the case, that's a big issue. Sorry.
It's a great question. Last week, I contacted Assistant Village Manager McVeigh to contact our risk management agency to see what we needed to get on D45 fields, because we can't get on there without any kind of written allowance. So today, actually, Mr. Egan sent us something that they're going to allow us to get on those fields. If they didn't allow us, we wouldn't be able to, because of the liability for the village. So they're allowing us to get on the field. So as soon as, if it's nice out tomorrow, we'll drag those fields tomorrow and get them prepped for you guys to have it ready to go on Saturday.
It's interesting that technically the agreement that has our signature and D45 signature ran through the end of this season. So I think that they could also present that to Irma. We'll get it done. Yeah, it's just,
That was the only thing.
yeah, and I don't know how to move them faster always. Yeah.
And there, you know, there was, you know, as the manager said, originally, there was a three-party IGA that, but youth baseball did not want to enter into that. So this, if this had been done as a three-party, there would have been no problem with that, so.
Well, I mean, for the record, if you're speaking on just recently, as far as the IGA was, it wasn't that we didn't want to enter one. The way that it was written, outside of us having any say-so on the verbiage, the way that it was written.
Why don't you, would you come up, if you're going to talk, please? Yeah, just so we can, everybody can hear.
The way that the current IGA was written back in November when it was first presented to me, the verbiage on it would not have allowed us to conduct baseball like we normally do. So I'd asked, it either has to be that, you know, just the village and the district make an agreement, or you have to change the verbiage on this. And I feel like that's a lot of back and forth lawyer fees, unless we're at the table and we get to tell the lawyers this is what, because it's getting written by people who are not on the baseball field, and that to me didn't really make sense. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and said, well, why does the village and the district make their own agreement, and then we'll just work through the village. Ultimately, whatever gets decided with the village and the district, you're going to end up having the village doing the dragging anyways. So it doesn't really make sense. We could do a three-party IGA, just the way it was written, it wouldn't allow us to go about our normal business.
Okay. Well, yeah, the fields will get dragged, though.
That's it.
Yeah. Trustee Kumar.
So right now, we don't have a three-party, we still have a two-party.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, between us and District 45.
On March 25th, this board approved pursuing two separate agreements. One was an IGA between
Right.
the village and District 45, and the other was an agreement between the village and the Villa Park Youth Baseball Agreement, which was developed after we had discussed with all three parties and decided that that was the best approach. And actually probably more legal, because although Villa Park Youth Baseball is a long-established 501c3, they are not a government. We can have, you know, the I and the A, but we can't have the G.
Oh, so we have a separate agreement with is there tie-up language in both of these that ties those two together, or is it absolutely separate? Because the breakdown would happen if it happens because of the language in both of these contracts, I believe.
So we have put language in there, and actually some that Rocco added, just Mr. Caifano added just this last go-through to make sure that the three the two agreements are aware of each other, so that
They're consistent
yeah.
and
Yeah.
yes, okay. Because that is the biggest problem that I foresee happening in having two agreements, which I agree, we all voted for, because there were legal ramifications that required that. But at the same time, you need consistent language among both of those agreements in order to have all three parties work together in a consistent and concise and proper, quick fashion. Otherwise, you have.
Just to add for my 2 cents, that, you know, we've always had two separate agreements, one with the school district and one with youth baseball. So that three-party thing was last year, that was a total change.
And that wasn't the youth
a-
baseball's idea, and that wasn't the village's
No.
idea.
So
Just for the
we're
record.
going back to the two separate agreements, but it'll spell out whatever each
Party is doing
Yeah.
separately. Okay. And how long are these are what, yearly?
Well, the IGA with the school district can be several years. With youth baseball typically is annually.
Annually. So which I'm fine with because they're taking on new responsibilities.
Right.
For a
And we're
year
gonna-
is fine.
what we did in the
So that they
past-
feel if it doesn't work out or they don't want to do it,
Right, we can change that up, and we're.
We can change that
well, like we did in the past with the previous youth baseball administration, when we tweaked some things, and we kept track of all the time that we spent on the fields. So if it's significantly less this year, then, we'll adjust our fees accordingly. If we only do a couple $1,000s worth of work, we're not gonna charge youth baseball $10,000 or whatever. We'll adjust. Conversely, if there's a lot of rain and we have to, charge, we're gonna keep track, and we're gonna supply Rocco and the youth baseball board, with a weekly or bi-weekly, total of our man hours. So they have track of that too.
and so how are the IGA with the school district, is that going to be a longer? It is how many years?
I don't know what authority Brian Graber or Jeff Egan have to sign that agreement. If they have to wait till their May 5th agreement, we're going to have to kind of play by the seat of our pants until that point. And if not, then if he has the authority to sign, we could get that done tomorrow also.
No, I understand that they may not have the authority and that you might have to wait for a board meeting for that to happen. That's not what I'm asking. What's the longevity of the agreement?
I think these ones are through the end of the season right now.
They're both to the end of
As
the
this is
season. 'Cause
an experiment.
I'm
seeing how this-
considering that should probably be a longer term agreement.
Used to be
if
10 years.
It should be a longer term agreement between the village and getting the board and our board all on board to sign something takes an enormous amount of time. And the thing that, it's just the way it is. It's the
Yeah, and I think
logic of the system.
Since this is kind of a new situation, I think all three parties wanted to do it for a year, see how it works out. If it looks like everything works out well, we'll look at a longer IGA with District 45. The agreement with youth baseball will probably be an annual, though, because as things
No,
change.
that
But
seems
the
to be.
IGA eventually would probably be at least, I would think, 5 years.
That seems to be understandable, given that they are a volunteer force, and there may be changes in management quite frequently. The school district, however, is not a volunteer force, it's a larger body, and probably you should have a longer-term
And
agreement
yeah,
with
it
this-
will, but we have to
with
see
the
how,
school-
yeah, we'll
school
have to see how this
district.
one works
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
There used to be
Trustee-
10 years, yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Okay, so circling back to my earlier comment, bottom line, it appears that we have an understanding, an agreement that we're just going to button up this week, right?
It's my understanding, and I'm 100% sure that we'll get done between ourselves and you. And I think that the whatever details there are to work out with youth, I don't think there are many details to work out with D45. I just need to get, a signature, and then we can move forward. And I don't know if that can happen today, or if we have to wait till May 5th.
Okay. So I think it's important that everybody understands that youth baseball is important to this board, and we'll do whatever we need to do to make sure that your season, at least on our end as a village, is successful. It's up to you to coach it successfully, but I'm sure you will do that. And that if we need to circle back and we need to fix something or modify or whatever, we're here to do that, because youth baseball is important, and those 400 kids need to play ball. So let's do that. Let's play ball.
Okay. Trustee Patrick.
If you could just reiterate when opening day is and what time and where it's at, so that way Villa Park can come enjoy opening season, opening day.
Can you come up, please? Yep.
I'm sorry, I forgot that. All right, so of course, keep your fingers crossed, weather permitting. This Saturday, April 27th, at Jefferson Fields, we will be having 3 different sections from our T-ballers all the way up to our 11 and 12-year-olds play baseball. We're going to have 3 different anthems, 3 different sets of opening pitches. food trucks, face painter. It's going to be hopefully what we establish as, you know, a hallmark part of our neighborhood every year.
What time?
All right?
What's
Oh,
the-
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, yeah. 9 o'clock, the games are going to start at 10. The very first, we're telling everyone to be there at 9 o'clock. At 9:30, we're going to have the kids' parade. And then opening pitch is going to be at 10 o'clock, very, very first one. Okay?
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, item 14B is discussion about the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Villa Park and the School District 45 and Villa Park Youth Baseball. I think we've pretty much killed that one. Okay. Item 14C is an update on our electrical contractor for the rec center. Major Harline.
I'm going to start the topic, but I'm going to hand it over to our attorney, Melissa Wolf, I think. Basically, we are at a situation where we have the previous electric contractor is in default. They have, as I understand it, gone bankrupt. We have approved language to approve a contract. We approved an ordinance or resolution to approve a contract with the number 2 bid and with J. Hamilton Electric. J. Hamilton Electric is ready to step in. However, we have to absolutely sever the first contract before the new contract starts, and that has not happened. One of the problems has been making sure that the company that oversees this understands that the previous agreement is done and that we went through a process to choose J. Hamilton. But for the technical aspects of that, I'll leave it. One thing we're going to look for tonight, though, is just sort of the authorization to continue, if necessary, to do under $25,000 contracts to do some of this work piecemeal. And that's not ideal, but it will continue to get the rec center moving forward. I'll leave it up to Melissa Wolf, our attorney, and I think Michael Guerra might have some pieces of the information if you need some additional help.
Thank you, Manager Harline. So Valley Electrical has defaulted under the agreement for inability financially to be able to perform the contract. About a week ago, Valley Electrical issued a voluntary default notice so that it basically relieved the village of having to follow certain timelines with respect to the official default. And so their contract with the village is now officially terminated. What's been implicated is now the performance bond related to their work. Old Republic is the surety under that performance bond. And under the bond agreement, they have certain options related to how they can remedy the situation. And so what they're doing now is evaluating J. Hamilton as the successor contractor for the electrical work on the project. This past week, I believe on Wednesday through Friday, they've been given submittals regarding J. Hamilton's bid, and they have, Old Republic has prioritized the evaluation of the situation so that they can give us the go-ahead as to whether J. Hamilton can be the contractor that is assigned the electrical work in accordance with the surety bond. So before we in anticipation of J. Hamilton being assigned the contract, because we had previous conversations with Old Republic regarding J. Hamilton's bid, and they seemed amenable because of the early stages of the work to assigning the contract to J. Hamilton. At the last meeting, the board approved in anticipation of the surety's approval of this. We approved J. Hamilton's agreement contingent upon these certain things to happen. So as soon as we get the surety's approval to move forward, the manager and the president will be ready to sign the agreement with J. Hamilton to get the project going. Because the surety is still in the process of evaluating it, we wanted to discuss potential options so that the project is not delayed, because there may be a short period of time, or, it's going to be in a short period of time if things don't get approved by the surety, that it could cause delay. Now, the surety's best interests are implemented by quickly responding. That's why they are
moving fast now with their evaluation because they are liable under the surety bond for any delays caused by the default of Valley Electrical and then their evaluation of the situation. So we do anticipate that they will make a quick decision, but there may be action that the village does need to take to get some electrical work started on the project before the big electrical contract is actually signed. I don't know if Mike knows the cost associated with those. WB Olson, the construction manager, is probably the better, party that would be able to answer questions like that. And they'll keep us in the loop on what we need to do on our end to keep the, project moving forward. But at this point, the village manager does have some spending authority under the village code. And if he needs to authorize, the preliminary electrical work, just to keep the project going, we would probably want to get some direction because we have 3 weeks, I think, until our next board meeting to authorize that.
Correct.
Trustee Cordova.
Yeah, I don't think we should have any kind of delays, so if there's any kind of stopgap or whatever we need to do there, let's get that done, right? Because if we need to get it done in 3 weeks, we don't get it done in 3 weeks, every day is another day, right? We're planning on cutting a ribbon here, I can't remember what date it was, let's not miss that, so. I don't know who else agrees with me.
Trustee Kumar.
I am on board with that. I think we give the authority to start the work. It's an unfortunate situation that it happened that this company fell through, but it's not something that should stop our project from going through in a timely manner. Given also that it is a grant-funded project, we need to stay on schedule and keep moving properly. So we don't want anything to ruin our future grants based on our scheduling of things happening on this one. So let's just go ahead and keep this project moving. I give authority to the manager to start the work in the stopgap. I do want a update at the next following meetings in unfinished business on the process and what's being done and how far we've gotten. So that's what I will ask.
For clarification, anything that's done in this interim period would be presented to the board for ratification at the next meeting. So, we can keep the board members notified as things progress, but ultimately ratification will come before the board at subsequent meetings.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. On to item 15A, new business is naming the recreation center located at Lions Park. Manager Hartline.
Yes, the Parks and Recs Advisory Commission at their last meeting held a discussion on their agenda about naming the recreation center. As you know, we looked at the possibility of getting a sponsor. We did not get a sponsor that was acceptable to the board. A memo was prepared in the packet. So basically, the recreation center, what the Parks and Rec Advisory Commission was asking of the board was that we have a discussion here. They would prefer to bring it back to their body on May the 14th, which would allow a final approval on May the 20th at this board, give public more possibility for input. And I have not heard from WB Olson or a drop dead date for the sign, but we need to know what the name of the facility is before we build the sign, because the name has to go on the sign, so.
Trustee Kumar.
I have a question. What's the process that was suggested to come up with this name? Is there a running process we're gonna follow?
You were not at, I don't know, you were.
No, I wasn't at the last meeting. I had some some things going on. But the staff had some recommendations, and we'll open the floor to the rec commission of other ideas on the naming of the rec center. So they discussed several names, 3-4 names. And then it was just preliminary stuff, and then we'll discuss it further in May.
I think, to continue, I think this is a big thing. The rec center is a very big thing. I think this is not the way to do a naming. I think we can do it in a much more publicly acceptable way and solicit ideas in a more organized fashion. We have a new communications director. I would like to make this a sort of a event of sorts. Naming is a big thing. If we're going to do it as a community, let's get the community on board rather than just kind of throw names out there, because it's good. We're going to be stuck with that name for some time, and it would be better to go back to the community and say, well, you came up with this name, than to come up with it between 3 people on a meeting day. I just feel that this process has to be improved.
Trustee Alfano.
I need to agree with Trustee Kumar. I think just tonight alone, we've had somebody come up and offer a name, and that's the first that I think we've heard of it. I did have somebody in the community, a couple of people actually reach out to me indicating that our Parks and Rec agenda was not online. I understand that it was probably posted somewhere, but it wasn't online, and so they were not aware that that was something that was on the agenda, because they do look at the agendas online, and they wanted to be a part of that. But I do also think that it does need to be something that the community is a part of, whether that is a survey or whether we have the students at our community schools come up with some ideas and we go from there. I just think that with this being a community center, it really needs to be based and kind of involve the community.
Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. This is a very exciting time for Villa Park. This is a project that has been underway for quite some time and well needed and deserved. I completely agree that, first of all, we need to really consider what we are going to end up naming this building. Now that we have the Parks and Recreation Commission recorded on YouTube, it allows other people, such as myself, that can't make those meetings, to watch in on those. And I was able to watch that last meeting and get on some of those conversations. And I think it's a great job that the commission is doing, putting this forward. There are a lot of great ideas that pass too. And to touch to Trustee Kumar's idea is that Chairperson Bosom brought up a really good idea that he said, well, once we come up with, let's say, a handful of names, a few names, 5 solid names that we want to present to the board, why don't we put out a survey monkey to the community or something along those lines, and we tell the community, these are the 5 names that the commission has come up with. You choose what the name is going to be. I think it involves the community to a lot of levels. I like the idea that we send this back to the commission to talk about. There was a commission member, Cheryl Tucker, that was not present, and Cheryl has been a huge, integral part of this entire process, even back before she was a trustee in Villa Park, and now she's on the commission. There's a lot of good insight, a lot of good conversation that can be had from this, and I think, yes, we should absolutely give this back to the commission. We should be figuring out all sorts of names, and we don't have to be generic. We could think outside of the box on this. And the idea of naming it after of Norma Burger Taylor, that is amazing. A lot of people might not realize her story, and she is a Villa Park resident here. If y'all like Tom Hanks, and he's like in every movie there is, but there's a movie called A League of Their Own that took place right in Rockford in the area here. And Norma was a huge part of the success of the Women's Baseball League that happened during World War II. There is a lot of history here, and we have talked about it earlier tonight about May being the historic month, being Historic Awareness Month. And what a great opportunity. And I think what I would suggest when the commission revisits this is that we go outside of the box and we look to tie our history to our name with this as well. And you might not agree that Norma Burger Taylor is the right name for this, but I think that is a great start, and what a great way to represent our history and give back, especially to a woman that was a part of something so great in a time of our history here in the United States.
Thank you. Trustee Kumar.
I actually would, okay, when is Parks and Rec addressing this issue, Manager?
May 14th. their
May
next meeting.
14th. I would like, after they're addressing this issue, to actually have a special meeting on this, if possible, with the community at large, kind of like when we got Lufkin Park done, because I think we can have a good discussion and vet out the names and come up with those 5 names to put on SurveyMonkey as in a nice group-oriented fashion, if we can at one point. I would absolutely be favorable of a meeting, just like we did for Lufkin Park, a special meeting. That would be a special meeting for the naming.
Okay. Well,
But
although I think.
I will
mean,
leave the other trustees
Yeah, the
to-
Parks and Rec Commission would be the time for that meeting, though. You know, get the community there. It's just, I mean, it's set up for that.
It's
That's where
kind
we
of,
need to start.
the problem with Parks and Rec is that it meets on a Tuesday evening generally, and it may not be favorable or amenable to the community at large, usually if we have a special meeting. I'm not saying that it's, this, we need to kind of publicize it, and it has to be a big thing for the naming. Otherwise, I mean, just having it at a regular Parks and Rec meeting will not get our community at large out there, nor do they have the space where they meet, so we need to think about the
Well, that could be
whole-
changed.
Yeah,
That could
yeah.
be changed. Yeah. Trustee Patrick.
And I will just add one more quick thing, a real quick plug here regarding Norma Burger Taylor, is that one of our own previous video production commissioners, Al Stash, you probably know him from the community. He is out there, he's involved in everything. He is Johnny on the spot when it comes to news. But Norma passed away a couple of years ago. Prior to that, Al had a great opportunity to interview her at a Villa Park Youth Baseball League opening day. That YouTube video is online still. I share it on my personal Facebook page. I can share it with the village manager if you'd also like to share that interview with the community as well. But just a little backstory about who Norma Burger Taylor is. And Al Stash, one of our own residents here, has that exclusive interview.
Okay, thanks. Okay. All right, so we'll turn this back over to Parks and Rec, and then we'll decide on whether special meetings needed. They'll figure that out. Like to publicize it, though, that it'll be discussed at the next meeting in 3 weeks, so that'll give the public a lot of time to plan for that. Okay, item 16A is acceptance of the Community Fund Commission minutes, February 27th, 2024 meeting. Item B is acceptance of the Senior Concerns Commission minutes, March 4th, 2024 meeting. Item C is acceptance of the Environmental Concerns Commission Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit minutes, February 22nd, 2024, and the Historical Preservation Commission minutes of March 7th, 2024 meeting, and all of those minutes are in the packet tonight. That will move on to item 17, the Village Clerk's report.
No report. Thank you.
Village Trustees report, we'll start on my right. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. Again, I would just like to thank Villa Park Youth Baseball League for coming out tonight, and the Village of Villa Park for clarifying a lot of these issues and making sure, ensuring that these 400 kids of Villa Park Youth Baseball League are, in fact, going to have an opening day and maintain fields throughout the season. Thank you for that. Villa Park Video Production Commission, we are short some members and we are looking for people. If you are interested in any aspect of video production whatsoever or making content for the village, you can contact me directly from my village website, that's trusteepatrick@nvillapark.com, or contact me personally. It's a great opportunity to learn. There's a lot of people in there that have skills and skill sets that they've done this before outside of the commission. So it's a great place to learn, great place to contribute, and create some excellent content for the village. Lastly, there was a fire that happened recently off of Summit Avenue, and we had a great response by our fire department. For the most part, everybody came away unscathed. However, I just want to reiterate that how important our first responders are in instances like this, and we don't often see it every day, but when we need them the most, they are there to answer the calls, and they do a great job. And I say this every meeting, but both our police department and fire department are the best in the state. And I'll challenge any other municipality out there to prove me otherwise. So thank you for those contributions. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the village for squaring away the Villa Park Youth Baseball.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Cordova?
I have nothing today.
Okay, Trustee Kozar?
No, nothing. We're good. Thank you.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes, thank you. Good luck to our baseball players for this upcoming opening day. And thank you to all who attended the Commissioner Appreciation Dinner, and thanks to those who made that possible, because I know that that's not an easy task. I know that I had a good time, and I think all of us were there, weren't we? Yeah, it was a good time. I have spoken before about the DuPage County 211 helpline, and they now have pushed out an option to text. So you would text our zip code 60181 to 898-211. That's available between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. and that's for DuPage County residents seeking health and human services. If you need any of that assistance, you can now text. You can still dial 211, or you can visit 211dupage.gov. Welcome to Riley and Michelle. Thank you for introducing them to our community, and we are very happy to have them here in Villa Park. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Kumar?
Just a shout out to Parks and Rec and all you've been doing at Lufkin Park and all that stuff that's happening there. It looks really good. I see a lot coming in there. I've wanted to talk about it for a couple of meetings. I'm completely excited and waiting for that ribbon cutting to happen because there's a lot of nice things coming out at Lufkin Park. Again, I'd like to thank everybody who came out for the 12th commission's get together. It was a wonderful occasion. We had a lot of fun, and thank you to Cheryl and her team for putting that together. That's about all I have to say.
Okay.
And I look forward to naming the new community center.
Okay, coming on to the village president's report. I'd also like to thank everyone for the commission dinner that we had on the 12th. It was very well received. We had a great turnout from the commissioners. The board was all there. I'd like to also thank Tony Odo at Michael Anthony's. We got all the food from him. The food was, as usual, it was excellent, and I believe he kind of gave us a little bit of a break on it. Actually, a big break. So thank you, Tony and Michael Anthony's. We had another business that opened up last Friday, Mortadel's on Ardmore and Highland Avenue. It's been long awaited, and from what I understand, I've not had a chance to get in there, but from what I've seen and people I've talked to and the lines there, it's doing very well. So good luck to them, and hopefully they'll be there for a long time. Coffee with the board would be on May 4th, 9 o'clock up here in the boardroom here.
May the 4th?
May the 4th. That's right. Yeah, May the 4th.
Can you dress in Star Wars?
No, I will not dress as, I will not dress as Luke Skywalker. This past Wednesday and Thursday, I was joined down in Springfield with DuPage Managers and Mayors Conference for their annual lobbying, couple of days with our state reps and state senators and Governor Pritzker. We were not allowed to speak to Governor Pritzker this year. There was only 2 mayors who were allowed to go in there, but we did bring up the 3 issues that we've been trying to push for this year. the LGDF, the Local Government Distributive Fund, which was at one time 10% and is now down to about 6.7%. The sales tax on groceries, which Governor Pritzker is trying to do away with, and how that's going to affect local government, and also pensions. We had great meetings with our senators and reps down there. Hopefully, they hear us. DuPage County is 1 million people strong, and hopefully these people down in Springfield realize that. One good thing, we had a meeting with the Treasurer Ferrix, and we are going to receive about $2,300 in outstanding funds that have been sitting down at the state for a long time. The Treasurer's been trying to clear up a lot of these backlogs on money that's sitting down there that belongs to the people of Illinois and also governments. And so we got $2,367 coming, so it was a trip worthwhile. And that is all I have. Village Manager's Report.
All right, I'll go quick. I got 4 quick things. Statement of economic interest are due May 1. We are looking to pare down the list of commissioners from previous years, but all elected officials, myself, department heads, and a few commissioners need to file. I think we've had a very broad definition of who had to file among our volunteer commissioners. We're going to look at reviewing that. Local Government Leadership Academy, the launch is this Thursday. We have 15 members of the Villa Park staff, 16 from other local government agencies, Strategic Government Resources, SGR from Texas will be on site. We'll do 4-hour, 2-lesson session, and looking forward to the interaction between the different people and teaching, doing some real intentional leadership training in Villa Park, and that'll go on for another year. Just to put names behind, thank you to the commissioners, of course, who attended, and thank you to the elected officials. I think everybody but Commissioner Trustee Corkery's there, and of course, he works on Friday nights. But Cheryl Wagner, Yolanda Clark, and Patty Ruiz were the 3 women who really put that together, and they did a fantastic job. Just wanted to, for the thousands of people in the viewing audience right now, I just wanted to put that out there. But you guys are great. You can attest to it. So, and also look for a draft contract in May, I think, for the pool lining. We have been looking to see if there is any such thing as a competitive bid on this. We have so far found none, so we'll very likely bring something forward for basically waiving competitive bids since we can't find any competitors. So, yeah.
Okay. Great, thank you. Okay, item 21 is executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C11 regarding litigation when action against, affecting, or on behalf of the village has been filed and is pending before a court, or when the village finds that an action is probable or imminent. If I can get a motion to enter into executive session and then adjourn out of executive session and adjourn our regular meeting. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano? Clerk Kornecki? Actually, any discussion? Okay, Clerk Kornecki?
Okay, Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. So we will go into executive session and we will adjourn out of executive session. So we will see everyone back here on May 13th.
And Arbor Day
Great
is
week.
Friday. I missed it. Arbor Day is Friday. Yeah, I was going to.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Is it 4 o'clock?